she does. She uses her body.
Punch in your face. Okay? It's enough. Like, I don't usually do stuff like this, but just stop it, bro.
June 24, 2026. Indiana Fever vs. Phoenix Mercury. A regular season game that suddenly became the biggest story in basketball. During the second quarter, Alyssa Thomas drove her fist into Clark's throat while Clark was down on the floor. The play was already over. The ball was nowhere near them. Then Thomas stepped over her and walked away. Within minutes, the clip was everywhere. Fans were furious. Analysts were stunned. Coaches, reporters, and commentators all weighed in. The entire basketball world erupted. But now, one voice is rising above all the noise, and it's a voice the sport simply cannot ignore. Shaquille O'Neal. A four-time NBA champion. A Hall of Famer. One of the most dominant players basketball has ever seen. A man who spent his entire career battling through constant physical pain.
You women out there, y'all petty, man. Hey, LeBron, you're 100% right on these girls hating on Caitlin Clark.
When Shaquille O'Neal was asked why he decided to speak up, his answer was simple: enough is enough. Just those 3 words carried weight. And what makes Shaq's opinion even more powerful is that he wasn't always a Caitlin Clark supporter. In fact, he openly admitted that himself on Angel Reese's podcast. Shaq said, "I was a hater because, I'm down with you." He even joked that he kept saying Clark wasn't going to make those shots, only to watch her keep proving him wrong. Then came the realization.
I was in the Final Four, I'm like, damn, and I was a hater because, I'm down with you. Like, she's not going to hit that shot, and bam, like, damn, she's not going to hit that shot, man. Like, if I say 10 times you're not going to hit the shot and you hit the shot, that means you're the.
In a Sports Illustrated interview after watching Caitlin Clark play in person, Shaquille O'Neal made his feelings crystal clear. He said she does everything the right way. Shaq admitted that early on he didn't talk much about Clark because Angel Reese was someone he strongly supported. But after seeing Clark with his own eyes, he couldn't deny what was right in front of him.
What I would love Caitlin to do is get up one time and then just slap the out of her.
Girls try to beat her up, and she doesn't complain. Those were Shaquille O'Neal's words. He saw the physicality. He acknowledged it. He praised Caitlin Clark for handling it with class. But on June 24, 2026, many fans believe Alyssa Thomas crossed a line that even Shaq's standard of toughness would recognize as too much. Let's look at what happened. The video is everywhere, and the sequence has become one of the most talked about moments of the season. Just over 3 minutes into the second quarter, players were battling for a loose ball. That's normal basketball. But after the ball had moved away from the play, Thomas appeared to make contact with Clark while she was still on the floor. Moments later, she stepped over her. No foul was called. Replays quickly spread across social media, and fans pointed to multiple points of contact during the sequence. The officials let play continue, and the controversy exploded. Later, Clark left the game with a back injury and did not return. That only intensified the reaction. When you remember what Shaq previously said about players constantly going after Clark, it's easy to understand why so many people connected the dots. To them, this wasn't about tough basketball. It was about a pattern they believe has been building for years. And that's why the conversation grew so much larger than one play. What's even more interesting is that just 2 weeks before this incident, 7-time NBA champion Robert Horry offered Clark a warning that now seems almost prophetic. Horry said that when you're the best player, everyone wants to knock you down. He argued that many players around the league were targeting Clark because of her status and popularity. His advice was simple: protect yourself and don't let anyone intimidate you. Horry even referenced his former teammate Shaquille O'Neal, explaining how Shaq dealt with constant physical punishment throughout his career. According to Horry, there comes a point when great players have to stand their ground. Then, only weeks later, this incident happened, and suddenly those comments were back in the spotlight. Fans immediately linked Horry's warning to what they had just watched. The debate wasn't whether people were talking about it. The debate was whether the league would respond strongly enough. The reaction online was immediate and overwhelming. Fans flooded social media with criticism of the officiating and concerns about player safety. Some argued that Clark receives technical fouls for minor actions while opponents get away with much more physical play. Others questioned how a sequence that generated so much controversy could pass without a stronger response during the game. What stood out most was the reaction from casual viewers. Many people who don't regularly watch the WNBA were suddenly discussing the league. Some admitted this was one of the first games they had watched all season, and the incident became their first major impression. That's significant because new viewers are exactly what every sports league hopes to attract. When a moment like this becomes the dominant story, it creates questions the league would rather avoid. The criticism didn't stop with fans. Former players, analysts, and media personalities weighed in almost immediately. Many called for a review. Others described the play as unnecessary and avoidable. Indiana Fever head coach Stephaniewhite delivered one of the strongest responses after the game. She criticized the officiating, called the situation unacceptable, and expressed frustration that controversial moments continued happening despite recent attention around the issue. White also emphasized that Clark is a generational talent and suggested the league needs to do a better job protecting its biggest stars. Those comments resonated with many supporters who felt their concerns were finally being acknowledged publicly. And that's where this story becomes bigger than a single game. Shaquille O'Neal built his legacy in one of basketball's most physical eras. He absorbed punishment night after night and still dominated. But even players from that era understood that there is a line between hard competition and actions that place players at unnecessary risk. That's why this incident continues to generate so much discussion. For many fans, the real controversy isn't just the play itself. It's the belief that the warning signs have been there for a long time. Whether people agree or disagree with that view, one thing is clear: the conversation isn't going away anytime soon. The WNBA now faces increasing pressure to convince fans, players, and analysts that it can protect its stars while maintaining the competitive intensity that makes the sport great. So now the question shifts to you. Was the league's response enough? And do you believe the WNBA is doing enough to protect Caitlin Clark moving forward? Let us know in the comments.